Hi, everybody. So this is going to be an instructional video on the CSI project for Edgar Allan Poe. I will let you know this video is going to be a little bit longer just because there's a lot of information here that I'm going to need to cover with you. A lot of this I will be covering in Class Connect as well, but it will be good to have this information in two places. So this project is something that many of you will love. It's a really cool, fun project, but there are multiple components to it. So I want to make sure that you're aware of exactly what needs to be done for the assignment. So as you go into the classroom, you are gonna, obviously you can click into the assignment. Before the assignment, there are some lesson pages you're gonna wanna make sure to read. So be sure to do that. When you click the assignment, you're gonna pull that up down here. So I actually have it pulled up. So I'm gonna pop this over. So what's really important to know about this assignment is that the assignment has two parts. So there's an investigation report that you're going to be doing that's worth 25 points, and then there's a death report that you're going to be doing worth 25 points. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to do a bunch of research and figure out all the different theories that people have come up with how they think Poe has died. And there are several of them. All right. So we're going to talk about all the ways that Poe supposedly could have died. So that's good, what your investigation report is about. So after you do all of this investigating, then you're going to pick one of those and you're going to write your death report. And you're going to pick the one way you feel that he died. And then you're going to kind of support that with evidence that you're going to pull from your research. Okay. So I'm not going to go through everything because we are going to cover a lot of this in Class Connect. What I do want to go through um, with you are some of the specific items on the actual assignment that you might be confused about, or things that I know in the past that students have had questions about. So your resources, yes, you can Google, yes, you can go and just Google ways that Poe died and whatever you would like to do. Absolutely, you're allowed to do that. Free reign with, with Google search. However, there are 8 resources here for you to use if you would like to. And you can use these 8 resources very simply by obviously hitting control and then putting your cursor over and clicking, and you can open up the link. All of these links work. I've checked them all. They're all good to go. You should absolutely be fine with these, okay? So you can use these as your resources. So as you're doing your investigative report, what you're going to do is you are going to go through and you're going to figure out, okay, how did he die? So as you're looking through all of these, the first part of that assignment comes in these 2 pages. All right, so these are the investigative report. And this should actually not be death report. I think I need to change that. I'm going to change that to investigative report because I think that's going to be confusing for you guys. I just realized that that's wrong up there. So I'll make sure to change that before you guys have access to this. So let's say I did my research and I'm like, okay, I really think he died by coping. And you're going to figure out what coping is. But I am going to say, I think that's one of the possible ways. So you're going to have 4 theories that you are going to think, okay, he died by this way. Then there's a possibility he died this way. And then there's another possibility. So basically, your top 4 theories of the way you think he died, you're going to pick for this part of the assignment. So you're going to name the theory. So you're going to do that up at the top. So whatever your theory is, you're going to name that up here. Then what you need to do is you need to have 4 notes. So what that means is basically you are going to just copy and paste some of the information from whatever article you read or whatever theory you read, and you're going to copy that, right? And you're going to have citations. So we need to know which article you got that from. So when you go back and look at these, so if you happen to get information from this article, that's your first source, right? So we're going to know that's the first place you got it from. So you can copy and paste that. And we're going to know that you got this first information from the still mysterious death of Edgar Allan Poe. That's where I happened to get it from, right? So all four of your notes should come from that one source, right? You're not going to mix and match. You're not going to have one note from one source, one note from another. They're all going to come from that one source, right? This basically are any questions that you still think you need to know. So whether it's, there's really not enough information. I really want to know what happened with this, or I really want to know if, there were other people there, or I want to know what medical care was like back when Poe died, right? So there's all kinds of things you can ask, but basically any questions you need to know are right there. I'm going to tell you, you have to put something here. It can't be, there's nothing I don't need to know, right? There's always questions. So there has to be a question, at least one question there. And then the last thing you're going to do is on a scale of 1 to 5, what was your opinion that this was the cause of his death? So if you pick one of these and you're like, yeah, he maybe died this way, but it's not really strong, then you might highlight it too, right? And you might pick that too and highlight it. But if you're like, oh man, no, this for sure is the way that he died, you're gonna pick that 5, right? So obviously all of these for all four not all be 5s because one of them is going to be stronger than the other, right? So one of them is going to be the way you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way he died. So after you do these two, or sorry, these 4, and I'm going to tell you, we're going to do one of these together in class just to make sure that you're doing it the right way and that you have clarity on it so there's no mistakes. But after you do those, then you're like, okay, now I'm ready to write his death report. So basically, what you're going to do is you are going to fill out this paper, this form, and you're going to pick the cause of death here. So there's, like I said, there's multiple causes of death that you're going to review and you're going to research. So you're going to pick one and you're going to put up at the top. Then in a 1 to 2 paragraph argument, you are going to state your case. What I want to really, really emphasize to you is that a good paragraph is going to be 7 to 9 sentences long. You're not writing 3 sentences, you're not writing 5. A good paragraph is going to be 7 to 9 sentences long. So the minimum that this paper should be will be 7 to 9 sentences if you're choosing to write one. What you also need to understand is that everything that's up here has to fit into that 7 to 9 sentences if you're choosing to do one. So what you're going to do is you're going to consider everything you've learned about Poe and death, which theory seems to be the most plausible to you. You're going to write a 1 to 2 paragraph argument in the space provided in which you prove one theory to be true. You're going to need to include and cite evidence to support your theory. You should cite at least 2 of the sources used in the project. So if you have written the 11 paragraph and you wrote the Modra's game paragraph, this is a perfect format for you to use an introduction sentence, for you to pull a quote, reflect, pull another quote, reflect, and conclude your theory, right? So remember how I said there's always a method to the madness of the way we do things in our class? This goes right into you writing those paragraphs, right? You're going to transition that right over to this assignment. So my advice to you is use that same format because that's going to be really easy to transition over. You have the intro, you have your 2 theories, you have your reflections, you have all your citations, you have all that stuff you need, and you're going to wrap it up with a conclusion, right? So that is my advice on how you should do that. The important thing here is that this is a research project, and I cannot emphasize this enough. With research, you have to have citations. I'm not necessarily making you pull in a works cited page at this time, but I absolutely have to see citations. So that means that's that parenthetical citation, right, that we've done before. So that's the author's name and then the page number, right? So that has to go after your quotes that you're pulling for any of your information. All right. So again, we are going to cover these things in a live session. So I do want to just emphasize and clarify a couple of those things for you. So have fun with this. It's going to be one of those things that I think you'll love. This is the only assignment you are doing this week. There are no other assignments this week. So it will be a nice, easy week for you, and you will be able to spend a lot of time on the project. So if you have questions, please let me know, and definitely pop into help session if you have questions or need help as you're starting to work.